Music doesn't make you do anything, but I do believe it can plant ideas in your mind. And just like a seed, those ideas can grow into attitudes. Those attitudes can shape behaviors. And if you admire the artist for their talent or for whatever reason, the influence is even stronger. Is hip hop music today designed to help you avoid crime or does it glorify criminal activity? Yo, before we get started, let's get one thing straight from the rip. I ain't no hating ass old head that's just hating on the younger generation just because I'm an old head. I'm from a generation that started this thing called hip hop, and it was created for a certain purpose. And if I see it being abused and I see young boys being taken advantage of and I see the music damaging the youth, I gotta say something. Okay? That being said, let's proceed. I often go on YouTube and I just scroll and watch videos of rappers out here today. I do a lot of research, almost from a scientific point of view. I'm looking for anybody not flashing money and guns at the screen and talking about trapping and shooting somebody. Needless to say, I don't have much luck. First, the beat comes on, the same beat, just like I talked about in the other video. Then the rhyme starts. Freedom of speech is a real thing, and art is no exception, which includes hip hop and rap music. But as the saying goes, with freedom comes great responsibility. Rappers hold a lot of power in their hand and they grab that microphone whether they know it or not. Naturally, the more popular you are, the more powerful you are, the more weight your words hold. On the same note, if you believe that music can inspire you, then logically you have to admit its influence. If some music can lift you up emotionally, then can it bring you down too? I'm not saying every rapper is supposed to be an inspirational speaker out here, but if you're talking about selling drugs and shooting people in your music and you don't give the full story, like the part where you might get duct taped and pistol whipped by the ski mask bulls, or the task force and DEA run down on you, or you standing tall before that judge fighting for your life, then you're doing your audience a disservice. You're making them believe that you can just sell coke all day, never go to jail, never get robbed, nothing bad ever happens to you. Well, here's the deal. When you talk about only the good things in the game and you ignore talking about the bad things, you are glorifying criminal activity. So cut it out with that old, oh, I'm just telling you what's going on in the street. I'm just keeping it real. No, because if they were, they tell you the whole story. And at the end of every song and every video, you would end up seeing them dead, in jail, strung out on their own dope, or snitching. On top of that, as a rapper, when you talk about all that tough stuff on the mic, you're drawing negative attention and energy towards yourself. That's why you never heard of LL Cool J getting in the shootout with anybody. You heard of Beanie Siegel going through a bunch of stuff. LL never talked about drugs and guns in his music, but Beans did. You subconsciously draw bad energy towards yourself when you put those elements in your music. I heard a couple of young rappers say that they believe that if you didn't talk about drugs and guns, that they wouldn't get signed. If they talk about stay in school, say no to drugs and whatnot in their music wouldn't sell. Well, first off, if it is true that you can't get signed unless you talk about drugs and guns, then ask yourself, why would they only want you to talk about music where you're trapping and busting shots? Ask yourself, who benefits from that? Of course, the artists get paid. Maybe not as much as you think, but they do get money. Of course, the labels and all the other players in the music industry, they make a ton of money off the music. But you know who else benefits from music with drugs and guns in it? The prison system. The privately run prison system. They love the AR Rabs, the PUSHA Ts, the Casanovas, especially the 50 Cents. You know why? Because they don't make music that inspires you to go to school or better yourself. They make music that if you follow their message will land you in jail. I bet if rappers that I named and others, if they suddenly started making music with a message of like put down the guns, go to school, learn a trade, spread the peace, etc., I bet you they would either pressure them to go back and talk about crime, or suddenly their promotion would slow down. You won't see them as much. Suddenly they'll be hit with SA charges or tax problems just to sit them in jail for a minute. That's how important it is to the mainstream power structure for MCs to keep glorifying crime. Like I said, music may not cause you to commit crime by itself, but it helps set the mood. It provides the soundtrack to your drive-by. Trap music for when you trap it. Sounds like a trap to me. Keep a whole generation unmotivated, in jail, and killing each other, and make a profit from it. That's a win-win for the mainstream power structure. Second of all, it ain't true that music won't sell unless there's drugs and guns present. I can name song after song, going all the way back to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five with The Message, to Hey Young World with Slick Rick, Road to the Riches, Cool G Rap, All Glocks Down, Heather B, Love's Gonna Get You, KRS-One. I can go on and on. Self-Destruction, All in the Same Game. These songs were cautionary tales, warning the youth about the danger of drugs and guns and crime. And it was dope music, and we partied to it. The mainstream power structure, they don't like music like that because it doesn't promote activity that could land you in jail. Whether you know it or not, hip-hop was created in the 70s to decrease gang violence and crime among the Black and Hispanic youth in the Bronx. Peace, love, unity, and having fun. Those were the core concepts and principles of hip-hop music in the beginning. To see hip-hop turn into a metaphor for crime is heartbreaking. Do you realize the root word in the word music is muse? Do you know what a muse is? It's from Greek mythology, rather. A muse is a person or a thing that inspires you. It gives you ideas. That says a lot to me. That says to me that the world realized and recognized the power of music a long time ago. Young bulls, you better recognize the power of music for yourself and be careful what you say when you're picking up that microphone. Like KRS once said, as an MC, you will study verbal magic, but watch what you say because you'll attract it. Control your subconscious magnet from pulling in havoc. Young bulls, take that advice. Don't follow the trend and talk about drugs and guns just because everybody else is doing it. If you're really not holding guns and spinning blocks on your ops and flipping G-Packs like you say in your rhymes, you're a fraud. If you really are living that life and you put that all in your music, you're a fool for incriminating yourself. Go back and read the story on Ace Capone if you don't believe me, from Philly or Darby, whatever. If the labels is only silent artists that talk about drugs and guns and crimes and stuff, let them starve. Let's starve them out. Alright, let's give them nothing but only dope hip-hop, void of the trappings of crime, and force them to sign only the dope stuff instead. Yeah, that might mean you won't get that big money up front right now, but you won't starve, you'll be okay in the long run. Either way, I don't see the value in making hip-hop music that glorifies crime. It only profits a few, and the masses pay the price.